Irrelevance. It's probably one of the scariest human experiences we can ever face. Have you ever asked yourselves, am I relevant right now? Is what I'm doing impactful? The fact is, it doesn't matter how you answer it, because in 5 years, we are all going to be irrelevant unless we do something about it now. And why? Well, first and foremost, irrelevance is sneaky. It's slow. It's so subtle, you don't even know it's happening to you. As a matter of fact, as we are sitting here right now watching this, we perhaps might be becoming irrelevant. Did you know that in the 1900s, information doubled every 100 years? In 1945, information was doubling every 25 years. And now, right now, information is doubling every 12 hours. We are not wired to keep up with this pace of change. And sure, humans are adaptable, but we are not algorithmic. Now, let me bring a bigger context into this. Blockbuster, once the king of Friday nights, is no longer, thanks to Netflix. Kodak was once the king of film, and thanks to digital cameras and smartphones, no longer. Taxi companies ruled transportation, and thanks to Uber, no longer. Now, these weren't business failures. These were failures of people who did not recognize that they needed to deploy the practices to stay relevant. Practices that included rethinking, reigniting, rebranding, all key ingredients to reinventing. Now, let me make this a little bit more personal. Lifeway research said that 81% of Americans believe that there is a purpose and plan for every person's life. Yet, only 59% of us are living that purpose. That means that 47% of the US population is living a life of purpose and significance. Well, when you look at the research, it says the fact is most people didn't accumulate the wealth that they had desired, didn't realize the dreams that they had once visualized, and they're not making the impact that they had hoped for. And the common thread amongst all three is the fact that they got distracted. They did not keep up with the pace of change, and they eventually became irrelevant. We live in a day and age right now where our smartphones know what we need and want before we do, where artificial intelligence is composing music, writing poetry, summarizing our notes. Moore's Law, once a technical principle, has embedded into our daily lives, and we're not even aware of it. And what do we do more? We scroll more. We shop more. We consume more. This is a formal plea to stop. Now, 25 years ago, I was a professional rugby player. That's right, 5'3", little old me. I was a professional rugby player. And then I decided it was time to grow up, and so I was like, oh, I gotta get a real job. And then I became a data engineer. Then I became a business analyst. Then I became a project manager. And through a few promotions, I became a director. And then I became a partner at 2 very well-known large global management consulting firms. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna pivot again. And then I joined Fortune 100s as a C-suite executive, holding a variety of positions. And then I became an author. I filed 10 patents. And yes, I'm a technologist at heart, but now I'm more of a storyteller than anything else. And guess what? I'm still wondering what I'm going to be when I grow up. It excites me, and it scares the bejesus out of me every single day. It's funny, my mother always says, you're the cat with 11 lives. Forget 9 lives. And I'm like, you know what? She's not wrong. That is true. Because I lean in. I don't get distracted, and I focus. But more importantly, I give myself the space and time to not only receive, but to retain and to reflect. Do you know that a majority of Americans, when they wake up early in the morning, what's the first thing they do? I know you all do it. You grab your phone and you scroll and you consume. Instead of reflecting on yesterday's wins and missteps, or on today's potential and possibilities. Idle time. What's idle time? We get 30 seconds, we get a minute. And what do? We reach for our phones and we scroll and we consume. And if you still don't believe me, here's a little fun fact. Did you know that the average American consumes about 74 gigabytes of information a day? That is equivalent to 16 full-length movies. That's on average. There's no way we can retain all that. We are in mental overload. And it's funny, as I go through and I think about this, I wonder, when Arnold Schwarzenegger pivoted from being a bodybuilder to a movie star, then a governor, was he scrolling? When Oprah Winfrey pivoted from being a local news anchor to this major media mogul, was she constantly online shopping? My favorite. Oh, my absolute favorite. When Martha Stewart went from being homemaker goddess to prison inmate, by the way, a lot of time to think, and then now Snoop Dogg's bestie, I bet you she didn't spend her time watching short videos. The fact is it doesn't matter if you're a tech evangelist, a student, an accountant, a hairstylist, administrative assistant, you're in digital marketing. What I'm going to share with you next is that these 5 basic practices will enable you, will empower you to stay relevant in a space and time where things are just changing so fast. The first, say yes. Lean in on your interests. And I don't mean pick 9 things and half-bake them. Pick one at a time, go slow, go deep, and be maniacally focused. The second, get bored. We're so uncomfortable with that. And I'm going to challenge you to one very simple ask. Next time you're waiting in line for your coffee, don't reach for your phone. Oh yeah, it sounds easy. It sure as heck isn't. I started doing this about a year ago. It took 3 months to break that habit. 3 months to just not want to instinctually grab my phone. But eventually I got there. And by the way, it was really uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable. But it was amazing because when I stopped grabbing for my phone, it's when my mind would wander. It's when I would zone out. I could watch the kids, I would hear the noises, I could smell the coffee. And I'll never forget this. The 4th month, when I finally got comfortable with it, it's when I came up with my 11th patent. Somehow, my conscious and my subconscious had connected some patterns and information, and I came up with a novel concept of how to build and do something. I don't know if it would have ever come to me if I didn't give myself that idle time and get bored. The third is be a student. Now, I know we constantly are watching short videos and we all think we're a student. No. Very, very, very different concept. Because, first and foremost, the average shelf life of a skill that you learned in these days is now 5 years. That's not much time. But when I say be a student, I mean really, really dive in and slow down. Give yourself the ability to receive, retain, and reflect. The fourth I would say is use technology 100%, but don't let technology use you. I'll give you another example. I now go for runs without my headphones. Oh, the first few months I tried doing this, I felt like a piece of me was completely missing. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost something or it dropped on the floor. No, I actually didn't bring it with me. Now, I still use headphones and I listen to podcasts and I listen to music when I'm lifting weights or whatever it may be, but I intentionally leave them at home when I go for a run. And guess what happens? I'm just going to walk you through the process. The first 5 minutes, boy, am I bored. And it is so uncomfortable. I don't even know what to do with myself. And guess what? Before it gets better, it gets worse. Then the real pain kicks in. Not only am I bored, the voices, the chatter, you would think I have a party in my head. They are constantly talking. That's probably because I didn't give them enough space and time to talk throughout the week, to process all the information and all the events and the things that had happened. But then something marvelous and miraculous happens. There's a calmness, there's a steadiness, and with it comes clarity. I was on a run once, and I don't know how this happened, but I came up with the entire leadership offsite agenda while on a run. And I pulled in things that were just, some of it was relevant, some of it wasn't. I was like, we kind of got to go past the business jargon and what our go-to-market plan is going to be and how we're going to win in this field of play. And I brought in other stuff. I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And to this day, that team still texts me and says, that was one of the best leadership offsites I've ever attended. Nothing has come close. And last, this seems so obvious, but it's not. Prioritize connections. Don't get me wrong. The advancements of technology are amazing. The conveniences it's given us, tasks it's doing for us, the global connections, global contacts, don't confuse the two, it's giving us. Contacts are not a replacement for connections. Because that promotion you got, that was your reputation. That deal you closed, that was trust. That big break you received, that was someone believing in you. Technology can scale efficiency, but relationships scale opportunity. So if nothing else that you want to take away from this talk, take away this. Practice deliberate rest. In a space and time where self-care is actually revered, the greatest self-care you can give yourself is self-steadiness by resting. Be intentional about being idle. And if you're receiving information, that's fantastic, but create the space and time to retain and to reflect. Thank you very much. Did you know our brains could rust? Just like metal left out in the rain or a muscle unused. If neglected, it erodes. And that's exactly what's happening to our brains right now. And we are actually proliferating our own brain rust. Let me give you some fun little examples. Next time you hop in your car and you use GPS to get you to your destination, you plug in your address, it says turn right, you turn right. It says turn left, you turn left. When you arrive at your destination, put your car in park and see if you can retrace your steps there. You can't, and it's unlikely because you have outsourced your focus and your recollection to your device. All right, here's another one. Next time you use the restroom and you take your phone with you, gross, I know, but it happens to be the #1 location we actually take our phones. So you properly sit and you decide, I'm just going to mindlessly scroll for a minute. And before you know it, your bum kind of hurts. Oh my, it's been 32 minutes. That's 1,920 seconds where your brain went numb, in addition to other body parts. Or those fun safety features on your car. The front camera, the back camera, it even buzzes when you get too close to an object. Well, get into a rental car without those safety features. Have you tried parallel parking? Could you even change lanes without a little bit of panic? It's unlikely. Now, these are small, simple examples of what's occurring in your daily life. But imagine the big ones that are going unnoticed. It's slow. It's sneaky. Because unfortunately, we as a civilization, as a population, have now prioritized quickness over quality, ease over experience, speed over substance. Now, artificial intelligence is learning 1% every day based off the World Wide Web. My question to you right now is, are you growing 1% a day? It's unlikely. And it doesn't matter where you are in the journey, the fact of the matter is, and what I'm here to share with you today, is to bring some awareness and some consciousness that our brains are rusting. And that you have to really consider the value you're going to bring in the future workforce that artificial intelligence is redefining in real time. Because it's not a matter of if it's going to impact you, it's actually a matter of when. My name is Rashidi, and 14 years ago, I helped launch the world's first artificial intelligence product that the workforce had ever seen. And it was 2011 when Watson, the machine, beat Ken Jennings, the man, in a televised version of Jeopardy. The world was in awe. Machine beat man for the first time. And that was when we were ready to take Watson to market. And I was there. And over the course of 14 years, I've held several C-suite positions and executive positions for Fortune 100s, building and developing these capabilities, leveraging data, advanced analytics, robotics, and artificial intelligence. And I am so grateful for my career. I'm an author, I have patents, but the best part of it is I had a front row seat of watching the evolution of artificial intelligence. It's brilliant, it's magnificent, but it's also coming to us so fast and we don't even know it. It's also coming to us at a cost, and we're not even aware of it. And worst, we're actually not even prepared for it. Now, you may hear stories of how artificial intelligence could summarize notes. And yeah, that's true. But it can actually create graphic images that would take graphic designers weeks to generate in minutes. It can actually generate content in seconds that would take influencers days. It could provide you insights in hours that used to take the best data scientists months. That's how fast it's going. And it doesn't matter if AI is a part of your life, like myself, or if you're just tinkering and dabbling with a few tools like ChatGPT, or if you are avoiding it because you don't get it, you don't understand it, and you want nothing to do with it. I get that too. But the fact of the matter remains, our preservation depends on our ability to think critically, think deeply, and problem solve. And if you're still not convinced, the World Economic Forum said that by the end of 2025, 80 million jobs will be displaced. Folks, that is 7 months away. Goldman Sachs estimates by the end of 2030, 300 million jobs will be impacted. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 4.5 years away. And unless you plan on retiring in the next 4 years, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, you will be impacted. Now, apologies, it's not all doomsday. There is good news in all this, I promise. And the good news is, while AI is redefining the workforce, well, with redefinition comes reinvention, and with reinvention comes opportunity. And we actually have the opportunity to capitalize on that as individuals, as a society, and as a community at large. And you may feel like you can't do anything about it, but you actually can. And what you can start doing is prioritizing mastery over meaningless motion, prioritizing curiosity over convenience. And I'm going to give you 2 examples that are really, really important. In 2023, the entertainment industry was at a crossroads with AI. The Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild, they actually protested, and they went on protest for quite a bit of time. In addition to that, they went as so far as to file lawsuits against 2 major AI companies because those AI companies had trained their AI models based on their intellectual property, their work, and without getting authorization. Well, we all know amazing shows like Ted Lasso. The storyline, the characters, the plot twist, the engagement, our attachment can never be generated by algorithmic outputs, but by human inputs and expressions. So they went as far to put in guardrails to protect their thinking, the very thing they need for their longevity in the workforce. In reverse, in contrast, let me share with you an example that happened to me a few weeks ago. I was in an Uber going to the airport like I normally usually do, and we were on the highway, and the app got a little bit glitchy. And the Uber driver started simply tapping, hoping it would unglitch, I think. But what was simple tapping turned into like frantic slamming. And I was like, okay, I'm fearing my safety here. And in my head, I was like, there's probably a dozen ways we could solve this problem. Well, I could enter the address into Google Maps, get that, or I could look up, because there were signs in the highway of this way to the airport. So I said, sir, don't worry, I know how to get to the airport. Not because I'd memorized it, I literally just looked up and read the signs. And I got us there. And I share with you these two examples, and they may seem drastic and in contrast, but that's actually what's happening right now. We have a massive bifurcation in the way we are approaching thinking. And that is just the reality of it. And so what I want to do today is share with you 4 simple ways to start your journey to be more conscientious about your daily choices so that 1, yes, you avoid brain rust, but 2, you find relevancy and you can provide value in the future workforce that's being redefined with artificial intelligence. First, know when to use AI and when not to use AI. If you are a master of your craft, if you are a subject matter expert, absolutely use artificial intelligence to amplify, expedite, facilitate the work that you're doing. It is a supercharger. But if you are learning a craft, if you are learning a discipline, do not use artificial intelligence to do the work for you. It is not meant to bypass the learning process or short-circuit the learning process. If you happen to be a student in college and you use ChatGPT to write your essay for you, you are robbing yourself of the ability to learn how to storytell, how to influence, how to write narration and flow, and the process of revisions. If you're a software developer, a computer scientist, and you use artificial intelligence to write your code for you, well, if you're not good at code, how can you spot bad code? You can't. So, know when to use AI and know when not to. All right, second, can we please make common sense common again? Yeah. Here's a fun little story. The infamous Stephen Schultz, a lawyer who used ChatGPT to do some research on court cases to prove his point when he was going to go into court the next day. And when he showed up in court, he cited 2 cases to defend his client. The judge called him out. He practiced good discernment and judgment, said those 2 cases don't exist. And he was right. Because Stephen Schultz, the lawyer, by the way, whose job is forensics, did not verify or validate, and he cited 2 hallucinations of AI in court to defend his lawyer. Could you imagine if he was your lawyer? What if we all did this? Or my favorite, a woman had typed into one of the AI models, "How do I avoid cheese from sliding off my pizza?" AI responded, "Add Elmer's glue to mozzarella." And it sounds so simple. And of course, we know, because we've actually grown up in an age where we've had to apply critical thinking. But I have 2 beautiful, brilliant children, 7 and 9. They are growing up digitally native. Would they actually know? Again, a silly little example. But if a lawyer can do it, imagine what's going to happen to the rest of the generations. So let's make common sense, good judgment, common again. The third, let's have happy hours and stop having appy hours. Put your phones away. And I know it sounds simple in nature. It's not. It took me 4 months to break the habit of reaching for my phone to see if I got a text, a WhatsApp, a work email, a personal email. I was even phantom reaching sometimes. My hand wasn't even going there, but I was thinking of going there. And I only ask you this, not so that you're present and so you're full of focus, but we are actually losing mental dexterity when it comes to our EQ and SQ, our emotional quotient and our social quotient. So the reason I'm asking you to practice this, because your emotional quotient is what allows you to sit in front of someone and you ask a friend, you ask a colleague, are you okay? Like, yeah, it's great. But something tells you they're not. And maybe you should follow up with them afterwards and ask them how they're really doing. It's that intuition. It's that thing in our gut that has been sanitized over years. You got to strengthen it back up again. Or our social quotient, our SQ. Your ability to actually listen without wanting to respond. Your ability to actually share an example and bring others along. These sound simple, but they're not. And we're losing that ability. And we're kind of getting rude at the same time. So start having happy hours and less happy hours. And last, I leave you with the fact that, well, I would suggest we consume less, create more, and engage in deeper thinking. Try lucid dreaming. Try journaling without an agenda. Go for a walk without your headphones. Try cooking without a recipe. Re-engage your ability to focus and flow. Because quite frankly, we are so busy staying busy, we actually don't give our brains the space and time to realign and reflect. And so what we need to do is allow our subconscious and our conscious to connect and interlock so we can process all the information that day, that week, that month, so that we can allow more aha moments, brilliant moments come to life. In summary, just know that it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, but we have a short window of time to course correct. Artificial intelligence was created for us to outsource our tasks, not to outsource our thinking. It was meant to fuel our learning, not short-circuit it. Use artificial intelligence to supercharge your ingenuity and your creativity. Make it empower you, not displace you. So, if there's one thing you can do today, when you do walk away, make an oath to yourself of next time you're in the bathroom or GPS, or you read something on the internet. Apply common sense. Know when AI is good for you and when it's not good for you. Re-engage with your peers and colleagues, kids and family. Don't stay busy for the sake of staying busy. Practice boredom. And ask yourself, am I engaging critically and deeply? Because your future depends on your value that you're able to bring in the future of this new workforce that's being redefined by artificial intelligence and automation. And it's coming fast and it's coming furious. Thank you.